Okay, this is an attempt at doing 11 questions as a walkthrough for your ECDL Excel exam. I'll read the question out, I'll attempt to answer the question, I'll do that twice and then I'll show you the question again. You should have two documents. You've got an ECDL walkthrough question paper, which is what's in front of you, clearly explaining the question and where to do it, and then you've got the Excel spreadsheet with loads of gaps ready to perform some of the questions. Okay, so question number 1 on the worksheet, practice. Insert a column between columns C and D. That's insert a column between columns C and D. On the Excel sheet, click on the column D at the top with the black arrow, selects the entire column, and in the Home tab, choose Insert and Insert Sheet Column. Click on D to select the entire column. In the Home tab, choose Insert, Insert Sheet Column. Question number 1A. Insert a column between columns C and D. 1B. Move the contents of E and F into column D. Move the contents of column E and F into column D. Moving. So we now select the contents of E and F, and there are two ways to move. The first way is to cut and then paste, and the second way is to be able to get your icon on your mouse so it has that symbol and click, drag across. That's moving the columns E and F over to columns D and E. I'll demonstrate the second way. We would cut, click, paste. So if your mouse isn't working great or you can't get that icon, cut and paste it, but not copy. That's 1B, move the contents of column E and F into columns D and E. On C, delete the column F. Delete the column F. Click on column F. Next to insert, where we got the spare column, we have delete. Click on the arrow and delete the sheet columns. That's delete column F. Select column F. Click on the little drop down arrow below the word delete. Delete sheet columns. Resize column D to fit. Resize column D to fit. Column D has only just got the words, in fact it hasn't quite got the words in. A couple of ways to do this. You can resize it manually, but both of them need to grab either, well, the gap between D and E, so that arrow comes up, that mouse cursor looks like that. Click on it and I can either drag it manually, or I can double click on it to auto fit. That's resize column D to fit. Question number 2. On the practice worksheet, merge the center row 1 from column A to column N. Merge and center row 1 from column A to column N. Merge and center. Select the cells A1, B1, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M and N. And in the middle of the Home tab we have merge and center. Makes that one big cell. That's merge and center row 1 columns A to N. Resize row 1 to 60. That should probably say 60 points. Resize row 1. So we select row 1. We go to Format next to Insert and Delete in the Home tab. We click on Format and we can now do the row height. The row height is currently set to 15.75 and it wants it setting to 60. Type 60 in. Click OK. The cell row 1 has been resized. That's resize row 1 to 60. Align the title, repeat this title, to the center and middle. Align, which means move in relationship to the middle of the cell. Align the title, repeat this title to the center and middle. It's currently in the middle, but it's not been centered. So there's the middle. Sorry, it's been centered, but it hasn't been middled. So these two need to be selected. This one already is, this one isn't. Click on that and it now goes centre and middle. So resize to font 36, that one's an easy one. So now we click on the cell again and we resize it to 36. So we've now got a big title in the middle and also it's in the centre, middle and centre, and all the cells A to N on row 1 have been merged. Question number 3, again on the practice worksheet. Apply a currency format to cells J18 to J22. Apply a currency format to cells J18 to J22. Find cells J18 to J22. In the Home tab, change the number icon from number to currency. There is a quick way of doing this, but I would suggest you do the drop down arrows all the time, just to make sure. So apply a currency to format to cells J18 to J22. Decrease the decimal place to no decimal places in cell J18 to J22. This is not using a round function. So decrease the decimal place. So at the moment all those cells are set to 0.00 and we can reduce the decimal place. Again in the Home tab, below the currency, next to the percentages, we have decrease decimal. We can click that once to reduce it to 0.0 and once again to reduce it to no decimal places. Decrease the decimal place to no decimal places in cells J18 to J22. Okay. Using the Format Painter, format the cells I17 to I22 with the same formatting as that existing K17. So we need to pinch K17. There's K17. It's italic, bold and blue background. We can pinch all of that formatting by clicking on the Home tab and using the Format Painter. It selects all the formatting. We now get a little paintbrush with a plus sign. We can now click and drag over all the cells in one go, don't do it one at a time. And when we let go, we'll get bold, dark, italic and a blue background. So that's how we use the Format Painter to format the cells of a selection using the formatting from one individual cell. Question number 4 on the worksheet. Add a function to subtract goals conceded from goals scored. It's a simple formula. You've got to make sure you get it the right way round. You've got to put it in the right cell. So we're placing this in the goals difference column and it needs to be checked to make sense. Your basic formula is this: goals scored minus goals conceded equals the goals difference. Hull City should in this case be 23 minus 23. So we've just got to make sure we get it in the right cell, which is there, E4, and we're going to make sure that we have got them the right way round. So we start by typing equals, we select the cell that we've goals scored, and we deduct, subtract, take away, whatever you want to call it, minus the goals conceded. You've got to use your common sense with these, make sure you've got them the right way round. Alright, the mistakes sometimes are made when you get them the other way round. Press enter, we've got minus 23. You have to press enter to get off the cell, don't click off, press enter. If you click off when you're in the middle of doing a formula, it will just select another cell. So wherever I'm clicking now, instead of putting that D4 in, it's now putting this wherever I'm clicking. So you have to click the cell, then press enter. Autofill the function so that all goals conceded are complete. So it's autofill, dragging that formula down so that it increases as we drop down and does the mathematics for all of the cells in one go. Saves you having to type it over and over again. So click on the cell that's containing the original formula, go to the bottom right hand corner till you get the black plus line, bottom right hand corner so you get a black plus sign, click and drag. We also get an autofill tool there. Later on there's a similar question where we can autofill, but we start by selecting the 2. Okay. Question number 4C. Add a function in cell C9 to sum cell C4 to C8. Add a function in cell C9. So we're going to put it in cell C9 and we're going to add cell C4 to cell C8. So it's more than one cell. C9, we need a formula. This time in the home area we can use the auto sum section. Again, use the drop down arrow to the right hand side and choose sum. At this point we've got to make sure that those cells selected are the correct ones, C4 to C8. Let's have a look at that. C4 to C8. So that's correct. So we can just press enter. If that blue square doesn't surround the correct cells, we can just simply redraw that blue cell and press enter. Okay, so at this point, if it isn't the right area, we can redraw our square, press enter, and it will fit nicely. That's adding a function in cell C9 to sum the cells C4 to C8. No need to type anything, just use the top of the menu bar. Autofill the function from C9 to E9. So we can autofill, copy and drag using the bottom right hand corner plus sign. Not only down but also across. So click and drag, and it will now do it in D9 and E9, adding a different set of data. So the middle one adds them and the right one adds these. Okay, so it's sensible filling. Autofill the cells A4 and A5 down to A12. Autofill cells A4 to A5 down to cells A12. I can't read. Autofill cells A4 and A5 down to cell A12. This is the example I was talking about earlier. If we want to copy that down, if we use number 1 and drag that down, we'll get all 1s. If we want it to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we can select both 1 and 2, and the computer will know that when we drag that down, it continues 4, 5, etc. So that's autofill into A12. So there's A12. 1 to 9. Good. Question 5. On the practice worksheet, add a maximum formula. Okay, add a max formula. These can be done here. Alright, I haven't said where to do it on that sheet, but it's in cell C10. Add a max. Again, using the auto sum icon in home, drop down the side using the right hand bar, the drop down menu, and this time select max. In this case, we do have to change where the blue square is going. So it's actually included the total, which of course is going to be the highest number. We don't want that. We want the highest number of goals scored for the teams. So this is where we immediately redraw our blue square by clicking our mouse, holding our mouse and dragging down the cells that we want selecting. So it's C4 to C8. Press enter. The maximum number, the highest number there is 17. Okay, we can again practice our dragging, our autofill, go across. So the highest number of goals conceded is Hull City, 23, and the highest goal difference, positive goal difference, is Leeds United with 13 positive goals based on 17 scored and 4 conceded. Well done, Leeds United. Add a minimum formula. Okay, exactly the same way. Lowest number. Use our home tab, top right hand corner. This time under max we have minimum. Again, no need to type equals, no need to type anything. Click on that. All we've got to do is make sure we've selected the cells that we should be looking at. Again, we don't want to include these two. So we just redraw our blue square, press enter, and again we can drag autofill across using the black plus sign. So the worst goal difference, the lowest goal difference, minus 23, is Hull City. Correct. Average. Add an average formula to the table C10 to E12. C10 to E12. That's written wrong. I'll change that. Okay, so that will be just average of C1 to C5. Okay, so again, same process in home, auto sum right hand side, click on the down arrow. Where we've done sum already, we've got max and minimum done, we now need to click average. Again, we don't want the average to include the highest number and the total. We want the average to be just the teams Hull to Arsenal, and therefore we redraw our blue box. Simple, the average is 9.6, auto fill across. Alright, the lowest, the goal difference average is 0.08, and the goals conceded is 8.8. So all that says there is make sure you don't include cells C9 to E9. Make sure you're not including these things as you go along. Okay? Question number 6. On the practice worksheet, in cell G9, insert a count formula for cells G4 to G8. In cell G9, insert a count formula for cells G4 to G8. In G9, which is that one, do a count formula for the cells G4 to G8. Again, auto sum area. This time we're going to use count numbers, and we're going to draw our box over the top there. So the count counts the numbers, and if we press enter, we've got 3 numbers there. Count A is slightly different. Count A counts the ones that have got something in it, so it would include the word no score. And this time we can't just use one of these drop down menus. So what we can do is we're going to use the more functions area, and where it says type a brief description, don't delete that, just type straight away count A. Press OK, and it should come up there, recommended ones, and we're going to double click on count A, and we're going to select the cells by clicking on the red arrow and draw in our box to select H4 to H8. Press enter and OK. So there are 5 cells, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that have got something in it. If you get count blank, in other words count the cells that are blank, I'm just going to do that underneath. Same thing, more functions, type count blank or count B, press enter, and we should get a count blank. Rephrase the question, count blank. There we go, count blank. Double click on it, select the cells, and press enter. And OK. There's one cell that is empty. Okay. So we've done a count A, which is 6A, and we've also done an extra one, which is counting the blanks. Question 6C. In cell K4, use a function to round cells J4 to 0 decimal places. In cell K4, do a round function to, for cells J4 to 0 decimal places. K4, round J4 so that it doesn't go to 0.873 but more rounds to 10,348. In the same way, auto sum, no need to type equals unless you know how to do it. More functions, round, in the search function at the top here, press enter, it will give you a selection. The top one is usually the one that's recommended the most. Double click on it, using the little red arrow you're going to select the cell you want to round, which is there. So J4 goes in here, go back to that area by clicking on that red arrow, and the number of digits, it's to 0 decimal places, you're going to type in 0. Click OK. So it goes to 10,348. Show you that again. Auto sum, drop down menu, more functions, type in round, press enter. It gives you a selection including round down. There's also, if I click round up, there's also round up. So it depends on what's asked. All you do is type it in the search function, press enter, and it gives you the selection. Double click on that and then try and follow the instructions, remembering that these icons to the right hand side are always there to allow you to select directly from the worksheet. So select, click on the cell you want to round, go back to the help area, number of digits. If you're not sure what it is, number of digits is the number of digits to which you want to round. In this case I'm just going to put 1 in there to show you that it can do it to 1 decimal place. So 23,982.546 becomes 23,982.5. It's rounded to 1 decimal place. In cell C5 function, we've done that one. In cell L12, add a formula that multiplies J11 with K11. In cell L12, add a formula that multiplies L12. L12 multiplies. This is where you have to start typing. So we're going to start the formula off. It's one of the simple ones with equals. It wants you to times that cell, so I'm going to click on that cell. The times button on your right hand side keypad looks like a calculator keypad, is the star, and it wants you to times it by 2 times 3, price times quantity. Press enter. Show you that again. Equals sign, click on the cell, times, using the star, click on the cell, gives you a formula equals J13 times K13, press enter. Simple formulas, all done. Question 5 and question 6 are all about getting formulas and functions into Excel. Question number 7. In cell K18, enter a function that displays yes if the sales cell J18 is greater than the target cell J22. In K18, enter a yes if J18 is greater than J22. It's an if formula. If formula. Okay, so K18. K18. We could go to here and type more functions and type if in there. Remember, I haven't deleted it, I haven't clicked off it. Just type if, press enter, and it gives you this recommended if formula. We could, if we understand this, we can understand that the logic test is what do we want to do. Well, you have to know a certain thing. You need to know that it's is that cell greater than that cell. So is Dave Smith's sales 3,909 greater than the target? Okay, so it disappears slightly, but you can see all I've done is type in here J18 by clicking greater than symbol J22. Click back to the help area, and then without having to know about commas and speech marks, is what you're going to say when it's true. You're going to write the word yes. What you're going to say if it's false, you're going to write the word no. So £3,909 is not greater than 6,000, and therefore when I click OK, it should say no. Show you that again. Auto sum, more functions. Some of you may prefer to go into formulas and use this auto sum. Doesn't make any difference whatsoever. More functions. Type if in there. Select the if. The logic test is whether Paul Jones's cell is greater than target. The value, if true, is yes, and the value, if false, is no. Just make sure if it says capital Y, you do capital Y. Click OK. Okay, on the above formula, make K18 formula, add to the formula so that the cell J22, the target cell, doesn't change when copied. So on this one, make it so J22 doesn't get copied. So when I copy this down, if I were to copy that down, it would break. Because it's changing J22 to J23. Okay, can you see the cells being used? And if I show you the next one down, it's saying yes, that's not, it looks right, but it's not right. Look, it's comparing peak bests to 0, nothing. And of course, all this money is greater than 0. So if we clear those contents, what you need to do is put a shift and 4 $ either side of the J. Have a brief look at that. So it becomes J18, is it greater than $J $22? Now when I copy that down, we can check it. It's always comparing the money with the target. Let's have a look at the next one. The money versus the target. And the last one, the money versus the target. Copy the formula down. We've done that. Question number 8. On the practice worksheet, sort the table L23 to N28 based on goals scored. Sorting based on goals scored. L23. L23. Here we go. Based on goals scored. So how do we sort based on goals scored? A couple of ways to do this. Okay, if we select it all and we sort it, it will sort it based on alphabetical first column. So what we have to do here is we have to apply a filter. So we select a filter, and then what allows us to do, so we've selected the top category, so all this table is now selected by filters, and now we can change that to smallest to largest. So Manchester was at the top with 2, Newcastle was further down with 1, so it's now ordered based on that column. Sort the table based on goals scored, C18, D2, so a different one. So here, on this side, there is a slightly different way of doing things. If I select it, and go to File and Sort, smallest to largest, okay. If that wasn't there, this is what I was supposed to show you. I'm just going to delete that. When you've got 2 together like that, you can select them and sort them smallest to largest, and this warning comes up, expand the selection. It realizes it's got data next to it, and therefore it's saying, do you want to expand and include that? Remember, we want Newcastle to be at the top, not halfway down. We want Manchester to be halfway down, not at the top. So click on sort and we get that. So just to show you that again, selecting those numbers allows us to directly sort smallest to largest, and if it's set up correctly, it will ask you to expand the selection, of which you click sort, and it will bring that data along as well. Okay? Otherwise total would be somewhere in the middle. Question 9. On the practice worksheet, use a command to replace all Arsenal with Burnley. So find and replace. On the Home tab, right hand side, find and select, replace. We want to change Arsenal, spell it correctly, with Burnley. Replace all. Check that it's made some replacements. 4 replacements. Click OK, close, and then answer the question. Change the right hand margin to 4.4. Change the right hand margin. Page layout. My margins is closed down for some reason. Don't know why. We'll skip that one. Add your name to the header, add a page number to the footer, and then return to normal view. Headers and footers, insert, header and footer. At the top, usually it'll tell you left, right or centre. You're going to put your name. At the bottom, it wanted a page number. There's the footer, left, right and centre. Design, page number. Click off it, always click off it, and then answer the question. Question number 10 on the practice worksheet. Use the table L23 to N28 to make 2D cluster column chart. L23 to N28. L23, oh hang on, I've got to go back to the view, go back to normal mode. L23 L23 to N28, insert column chart, 2D column chart. Cut or move to the graph worksheet. We've been working in the practice worksheet, so now we need to cut, go to the graph and paste. Resize the graph to 7.09 high and 10.98 wide. Click on the graph, go to design, I think it is, no it's layout, no it's not, it's format, and change the height to 7.09, 7.09 and the width to 10.98. 10.98, press enter. That should give you the graph exactly the same size as the one that I put in. Okay. Rename the title 2D cluster column graph. Rename the title, if it hasn't got a title, like mine doesn't, go to design and add a title, chart title, center overlay, and rename that 2D cluster, 2D column chart. Press enter. Add data labels. Same place, layout. You might have them down the left hand side. You've got data labels anywhere you like. Change the bar graph to a pie chart. That's a column graph, that's a bar graph. That's a column graph, that's a bar graph. Click on the bar graph, the one that was already there. Choose the design and change the type to a pie chart. Reason why we're doing this, apart from the fact all the colours are messed up, is so that we can add a different type of data label, which they will give you in the exam, which is a percentage data label. You only get them on pie charts. But where we had layout, we've got data labels, more data label option at the bottom, and this time we're able to tick the percentage one. Okay, so you can get rid of the value and you can see the percentages pop up. So that only is live for pie charts. Last question. On the practice worksheet, display the print tiles to display title row on all sheets. Okay, display the print titles to display the title row on all sheets. On the practice worksheet, we've got a title. Repeat this title. We want to display that on all sheets. Go to page layout. And print titles is normally live. but mine isn't. It's because I've got no printer attached. Pants. You will go to, oh, it's there. There we go, for some reason. Print title, no printer. That would be live, and it would allow you to repeat at the top, and you would just select the first one and then close down the print tiles. Won't let me do it because I've got no printer. Question 11b. Freeze the panes on cell L3. Find L3, where it says freeze the panes. Go to view, select freeze panes, got a couple of choices, freeze top row, freeze first column, and if it's where you want to select it, freeze panes is the top one. When I move down now and across, you can see I get that frozen, so it's locked at that point. And the last one, set the print setting to print 2 pages wide and 1 page tall. Guess what? It's in file and print. I don't think it'll let me do it. It won't let me do it. Page setup, no printer attached. When you go into page setup at the bottom, it allows you to fit to 1 page and 1 page, and you can change it from 1 page wide to 2 pages tall. And that's the end of the walkthrough. A couple of ones don't work because I aren't logged down doing it to my laptop, and we've got no printer attached, and therefore you'll have to just discover them yourselves.